you had a good day. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had a good week so far. It's just beginning, but we'll get through it one way or the other. So first I want to say I am so sorry we're not going to start the exercise program until next week, but we are going to start it. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, set your alarms, get up with me, and we're just going to do a little exercise to warm up our bodies, get a little more mobility, both for dancing and just to start our day. So we're going to do 5 minutes in the beginning for people who maybe have not done much before, not done much exercise before, or have had a big break from it. And then we're going to do another little segment, say 5-6 minutes for people who who have been exercising a little more, who maybe want a little more flexibility, and we'll work on that, because the thing is, it's so much easier when you have some friends to do it with. Just doing stuff on your own, it's very, very hard to motivate yourself. There's some people who can do it, but I definitely would be a lot more motivated to do it with all of you instead of just being here on my own. So that's what we're going to do next week. So 6:30 before you go to work, before you start your chores, before you do your shopping or wake up your kids or walk your dog, let's do just a few minutes of exercise, and we're going to start with just those few minutes and build up, because we don't want to get too crazy all at once. So tonight we are just going to talk a little bit. We're not going to do our usual warm-up because we have lots of other stuff to discuss. So for those of you who have been in the previous lives, we learned a little choreography to the song Ordinary by Alex Warren, and we went through it. First we learned it piece by piece, and then in a couple of the lives we went through and gave some interpretation to the movements, talked a little bit more about what you want to say with each gesture, each step, and some technical things about weight shifting, which I'm very big on, so that you can make your performance smooth and you can be confident you're not going to topple over or anything. So it's pretty basic choreography, so if you have not learned it, would like to, you can go back to the previously posted videos and learn it. But I just, because for me, performance is kind of the accumulation, that's the high point of any kind of dance. So I hope that you will at least try it, because it's a really great method of self-expression and maybe conveying to other people what you're feeling so they can understand you a little bit better. But performance is something that you can and should prepare for. So we're going to go through all the kinds of things that you're going to have to think about. So first I want to say hi, Eve. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're ready to get ready. So, of course, the first thing you want to do is practice your piece over and over and over. And it doesn't have to be 100% each time. So, if you're feeling good, you go through it and you give it a lot of energy, a lot of push, but you also want to break it down. You want to do it piece by piece so you have time to think about each movement. And if you're feeling a little off, a little tired, just repeat it, I would say, not at your full capacity. Because what you're doing is you're just getting what we call muscle memory. You're just getting yourself on kind of an autopilot. Because it could be because of nerves, because of a different situation, that you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you practiced it over and over, your body's going to know. It's going to kind of go automatically through your piece. I say, thank you, Bree. Thank you. So happy you're here. So that's the number one thing you want to do. You can always go through previous videos and repeat them, because usually there's something new you'll get each time. And most importantly, you want to think about what you want to say, because it's one thing to have me or your coach say, okay, this is who you are, this is what you're saying, but it's really deeply personal how you want to interpret it. So you can make up a character, you can be talking about previous love situation or current one, or whatever it is that you're feeling inside, and you really want to bring out the real you, because it is something that your audience can see. So that's the number one. You want to practice it. So second is you need a venue to perform it at. There are usually a lot of opportunities. You may have to reach out to get them. If you're in some kind of a dance school, they always have recitals, usually at least twice a year. Community centers very often have kind of festivals or days that you can sign up to perform at. So when I first kind of started with all of the Latin stuff, so my teacher had another student, and she threw herself a party, and she said, okay, it's been 1 year since I started dancing salsa, and I'm going to have a party with all my family and friends, and I'm going to perform. And that's exactly what she did, and she did a beautiful job, and everybody was super happy. And I also recently performed myself at the birthday party of a lady, and she performed herself there as well. She had her teacher dance with her, and it's just a really nice way to celebrate. So you can celebrate, you can do it for somebody else, or if it's your day, hey, then they can sit in and watch you. So there's always a place you can find to do it. And so just other things that you do want to think about as it gets closer to that time is, of course, what you're going to wear. So I'm going to, let's start with the footwear. We've been doing it barefoot. I think with this piece, it seems to work barefoot. Also, that'll give you a really good grip on the floor. You know, you don't have to worry about slipping and sliding. You don't have to worry about what kind of floor it is, because with shoes comes other difficulties. So if you don't know what the floor is going to be like, it's a little bit of risk. However, you can always, for example, put something like this on. We're not really turning here, so I'm not even sure if you need it, but if you feel more comfortable with something on your feet, this is just kind of a half shoe. It's, people wear it in rhythmic gymnastics or modern dance all the time. But again, very often if they just need to do some turning, so they have something on the front of their feet so they can slide a little. So if you feel like you need a little more slip, then you might consider something like these. There is the soft belly slipper. They're a little messy. I was practicing in them. Which are just like a very soft shoe. If you're gonna get something like this or buy something like this, you want it to fit pretty tight on your foot. It's not gonna fit like a loose shoe. It's gonna fit like a sock, because you want it to conform to the shape of your foot, and you want it to move with you. Now the downside is it is a little constricting on your toes. So if you want to feel a little more sturdy, either give yourself a little more room here at the front of the shoe or do it barefoot. It's really up to you and what you want to say with your dance. Well, let's look at something. This is a jazz boot, but these are also actually really nice to dance in. They also are meant to fit tight. You can wear them with a sock. I usually don't. I like to feel the floor. So I wear them without a sock. And they are also, they allow your foot to move, but they just feel a little bit freer than like a ballet slipper. So this is also something something you might want to consider if you don't have them investing in them. And again, they're going to be a little smaller than your street shoe because you don't want your foot sliding around in them. And they've got a little heel here, so there's a little bit of padding. This is what's called a split sole, meaning it's not a complete sole. It's broken up. There's a front part and a back part, and it's just stitching here in the middle. I like that because when I point my foot, it kind of sticks to my arch. But for this piece, if you don't want to go barefoot, it's a good choice. But again, I'm going to leave that totally up to you and what you're feeling, because sometimes you see something and you're just feeling it your own way, and you don't want somebody to dictate to you what you should be feeling in that moment, and this is definitely something you should go with. So this is a dance sneaker. Again, it's going to fit close on your foot. It gives you a lot more support, and it's split here in the middle, so it will stick to your arch. This is also a very good shoe for dancing. You're not going to feel the floor quite as much, but for this kind of piece, it's very, very appropriate. And if you don't know what kind of floor you're going to be on, or maybe you're going to be outside or somewhere where you do need like a real shoe, then again, very good choice. And we are going to also match our costumes to that. Now, if you're feeling like you want to wear heels, you may absolutely do so. It could also work in heels. That'll give it a completely different feeling, but it's also not wrong. So just depending on your, I would say on your experience, because if you're new to performing, you want to be in something that's maybe not too wobbly. So you may want to stay away from the heels or have a low heel. So I think this one is a 2-inch heel, maybe 2.5. But as you see, it's got a nice sturdy heel, and it's a little bit bendy, not too bendy. But you know, you could go with something like this, or if you're really feeling confident, you can wear a spike. Not wrong, but just be prepared that in the moment when you've got your nerves going, it may be a little bit harder to balance in. So, costume. That is also something that you need to decide for yourself, but there are so many possibilities in a piece like this. It's called ordinary, so it does not have to be fancy. It does not even have to be a costume. It can be something you have at home. Yeah, I would maybe choose something like this. If you just want to go with ordinary clothing, you want to give it a little bit of thought. You know, it doesn't want to look like you just kind of woke up or threw something on and came there. So you do want it to look like it is a performance. So if you would feel comfortable in something like this, and it is a story about ordinary life, kind of. It's about you know, one of the components of ordinary life. So that would definitely work. Also work is just a leotard. If you feel okay in that. Probably something plainer. This is reasonably plain. It's got a little bit of lace here and there, but that would also work. Again, in this one we're leaning more towards the simple because it's not a flashy piece. It's just it's about feelings. If you're going more the route of a costume, something like this is always very nice. Just kind of a tunic. Comes in varieties of colors. You can get these from many of the online websites, and you can get one that suits you and that you're going to feel good in, that you're going to feel confident in. But something to always remember, of course, a lot of them come in with a leotard sewn in or some kind of underwear sewn in. This one does not. So therefore, you want to make sure these are meant for costume, right? They're lycra, they're thick. You can also wear shorts. I'm not a big fan of shorts because I feel like they make your legs look a little bit shorter. I like something that, you know, has a line that comes up, but you want it to be very, very non-see-through, and you don't want anything that's gonna, you know, go into your butt at an opportune moment. So you want to make sure you have this underneath. The same thing if you've got a pair of shorts, obviously in the appropriate color, you're going to want to make sure you have something underneath because you don't want any peekaboos while you're performing. And also, as far as your legs go, you can do bare legs. You can wear black tights. Although, you know, I'm not sure if it can definitely work with black tights, but you may want something more of a flesh color because it makes it easier to see. That's just kind of the way it is. If you're doing it with a shoe, you can have something full in your leg, but if you're doing it barefoot, recommend a pair with stirrups. They'll just go over your heel and they'll stay on pretty well and allow you to use your bare feet. But if you are, say you've got a stage opportunity and you do want something a little more out there, you really want to make it more of a show. So I would recommend, this is a unitard. This is kind of a favorite because it's a very nice thin material, but again, the thinness sometimes causes a problem. It's got feathers painted on, a little bit of bling, but not over the top. So that is another way you can go, and it's really up to you. So the day of, you want to make sure you pack your bag in advance. Make sure you have plenty with you. Besides your costume, double check extra pair of tights in case you get a run in them, even an extra pair of shoes, just in case. And I always carry these because there's been so many times you have a thread hanging off, somebody gets stuck, whatever, a little bit of glue, something to sew with. You know, and you want to bring even if you do your makeup at home, bring a makeup bag, something that's nice and roomy to have